Well, hello. Welcome to today's version of Grace Notes. My name's Landon Galloway. I'm honored to be one of the pastors at Grace Church, and I'm at the Tomball campus. Glad to spend a little time with you today. Earlier this morning, I was reading in my devotional time about the story in Mark where Jesus is confronted by a man named Jairus to go heal his daughter who will eventually die. And along the way, he's interrupted by a woman who's been sick with a discharge of blood for a very long time. Let me read just this verse here. This is Mark chapter 5, verse 22. We're told this: "Then a leader of the local synagogue, whose name was Jairus, arrived, and when he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet, pleading fervently with him. 'My little daughter is dying,' he said. 'Please come and lay your hands on her, heal her so she can live.'" That verse caught me because I noticed the desperation in Jairus' tone. As the leader of the synagogue, he was an important religious leader who probably thought he was a little too good to be hanging out with people like Jesus. However, desperation often drives us to God's divine purpose for our lives. And so even though he was causing himself some shame, even though he was belittling himself to go ask a favor of someone else, even though falling down and begging and pleading was beneath a man of his station, he did it because he was desperate to see his daughter healed. As a father with two little girls, I understand this. A couple of weeks ago, my 3-year-old came home and we were doing our nightly prayers. And we prayed, and she prayed for mommy and daddy, and she prayed for everyone. And then she prayed for Yuke, which I think means Luke. And I said, "Who's Luke?" And she said, "He's my boyfriend." And I said, "Look, I know Jesus loves Luke, but someone else can pray for Yuke, because we don't pray for Yuke in this house because you don't have a boyfriend." I know what it's like to be a protective father, and I can't imagine something happening like that to one of my daughters. And so this Jairus, he's acting beneath a man of his dignity to fall down and to beg. So Jesus agrees to go with him. He's on his way to heal Jairus' daughter, to answer Jairus' request, because the desperation in Jairus' voice encouraged Jesus. It helped lead to Jairus' miracle. But along the way, he is confronted by a woman who's been very, very ill for a long time. Now, where Jairus begged for his daughter, this woman had no one to beg for her. In her society, the way that the world worked in those days, that she should not have been out in public by herself confronting a religious teacher like Jesus, that she should have been represented by a father. If not a father, then a husband. If not a husband, then a brother. If not a brother, then an older cousin. But she had no one to go with her. She had no voice. She had no one to stand up for her. Unlike Jairus' daughter, she had no one who would care enough to say, I really need to see her get her miracle. Jesus is so overwhelmed by that moment. He says, who touched me? And the disciples said, it's so crowded. We're not practicing social distancing. People are so close within 6 feet of our space. We don't know who actually touched you. And finally, he noticed the woman, and she hesitantly comes to the front. And I want you to watch what Jesus says to her in verse 34. Jesus said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace, your suffering is over." I love this because Jesus didn't just do a physical miracle. He also called her daughter. One of the few times in the New Testament where he refers to someone as daughter. Just like Jairus begged for his daughter to get a miracle, this woman received her miracle because she was a daughter of God. And I just want to encourage someone today. You may feel like you're all alone in life, that you have no one in your corner, that you have no one fighting for you, no one standing for you. You feel like you're doing life all alone. And if you belong to Grace Church, just know that's not true. We're here for you. We're standing with you. But even if you feel like you're at this all by yourself and you have no one in your corner, you always have someone in your corner. God's always there for you. You are a son of God. You are a daughter of God. You are a child of God. And if no one else is there for you, you have someone who will always be there for you and with you. I hope you're encouraged today by this brief grace note. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.